Hi everyone. So welcome to this another podcast of Elite CISO. Today we have Mansi Thapar, head of IT and cyber security at Jaguar. Is the title right or did I get it wrong?
Yeah, it's it's IT leader and head information security,
Right,
but that's
right.
fine.
IT leader
Yeah,
and head of information security at Jaguar Group. So welcome Mansi. Great to have you
right.
here.
Thank you, Vikas.
Perfect, perfect. So since this is a podcast format and we do not want a big 40-45 minutes webinar, so we will try to keep it short, right? Short and crisp, 20-25 minutes only. Okay,
Great, great. Works for
great.
me. Yeah.
So perfect. So let's start with your introduction, right? So give us high level overview of your profile, how your career has
Okay.
been, and what you currently do.
Right. So I'll just share my screen also for it.
Hmm.
It says host is disabled. Can
Hosted
you?
disabled. Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
can certainly enable that. Okay, so share screen. Perfect. Right now.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
Let me know when you can see that.
Yes, it's loading up right now. Yep, I can see it
Oops.
now. Perfect.
Great. Yeah.
Great.
So
Put
basically,
it
I
in
would say
a
that.
slideshow
Yeah.
format, Mansi.
Sure. Sure. Is
Great.
it
Yeah,
fine
looks
now?
perfect now. Yeah, yeah. Much better.
Great. Great. So I would say that I would like to, for about myself, I would like to say that I'm an innovator
Hmm.
and a motivator, first of all. I really
Hmm.
love speaking. And
Hmm.
this speaking experience has just come after 2.5 years only. Otherwise, I was a
Right.
very shy person. So by seeing all of you that how you guys operate and, do the talks, I was really inspired.
Right.
So I would say
Wonderful.
one of you guys really inspired me. So
Great.
rest, I would say I've got 20 years of IT experience,
Hmm.
and I've worked in mostly all the domains of IT, be
Hmm.
it project management, be it operations, business processes, be it software implementation, infrastructure
Hmm.
implementations, and now of course cybersecurity.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
that's what it. Yeah, yeah. So
Great.
that is what I am.
Yeah, and I see that you have won a lot of awards and recognition as well. So that's great. You want to talk about those? What kind of awards and what kind of okay, you are with EC Council as well as advisory board member, right? So
Yeah,
any
yeah.
thoughts around that?
Yeah, so I would say that this is a very good platform. EC Council
Hmm.
provides you with very good certifications. And with me, it
Hmm.
was like, as I told you, I've got varied experience. So I
Hmm.
was involved in their advisory board member for their new certification, which has come us
Hmm.
for CASE. So that is
Hmm.
specifically for, software developers who
Right, right,
understand the software, but now how to, inbuilt software in design, which is now the
okay,
base
okay,
for privacy laws. Like in
right,
GDPR
right.
also it talks about that
Hmm.
privacy by design needs to be, to be integrated. So that
Right,
is what it is all about. And where
wonderful.
BSA is concerned, this is a body which is a software compliance body, which is
Hmm.
SAM, this is Software Assurance Management. So
Right,
what this
right.
body does is that is chaired by VP of Apple and Microsoft, Adobe. All
Hmm.
these very senior people chair this committee, and it's a worldwide, non-profit organization which works
Right.
with that how we need to be software compliant in our enterprises. So
Hmm.
they also came up with a certification for
Wonderful.
for a SAM manager that how we should
Right,
design that certification around. So I was
right.
also part of that certification
Wonderful.
program.
Wonderful. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at the career timeline and it says project management, PMO, the risk team, information architecture and all. So how you got into
Yeah.
cybersecurity? Because it's a long career that you have, more than 20 years. So you want to talk about how you
Yeah.
got into
So
cybersecurity? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's very interesting actually. I've been
Hmm.
doing, working with the cybersecurity experts almost all my career time,
Hmm.
because if you see, if I need
Hmm.
to manage a project or I need to software development, then also security guy is
Right.
always in place. I'm implementing an infrastructure, I need a security
Hmm.
person. But I was never into security. From last 4 years,
Okay.
it
Hmm.
came as, but my only thing was that I love learning. That is
Hmm.
my, and I would like, all of us to really, keep on learning. So that is the most important thing for me. And I would say I've
Right.
reached this level only because of that. So I
Perfect.
just took
Perfect.
whatever came to my
Hmm.
KT. It was like that.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
earlier
Perfect.
I started from a documentation head. to a
Hmm.
CISO in Jaguar Group now. And I was
Oh,
also earlier
wonderful.
heading the IT in Jaguar. So,
Wonderful.
and I also took a thing which was like MD's office, which was a completely new thing for me. So
Uh-huh.
I've got 13 years. If you see, my 13 years is all into IT, all
Right,
IT
right,
companies, and I was on
right.
the other side of the table. And then I
Wonderful.
got a call from MD of Jaguar, and he said that
Hmm.
why don't you join the MD's office? At first, I
Right.
thought I don't know what that is, but I took the leap of faith that now
Yeah.
let's join a manufacturing organization. So there, like what happened was Jaguar grew from 500 crores
Hmm.
to 3,500
Hmm.
crores in a very short
Hmm.
span of time,
Hmm.
and IT played a big role in that. So
Right,
once
right.
we have reached this level, so it was a strategic decision that we should
Hmm.
split this role now, which I was currently handling,
Hmm.
which was a very,
Hmm.
very big role now because we were diversifying globally as well.
Right,
So
right.
at that time, it was said that, because I've been handling IT and I
Hmm.
understand IT very well, and they were also
Hmm.
looking for a CISO. So whether
Right.
I should go as a CIO or a CISO,
Hmm.
but I don't know why, but I have chose the
Yeah.
CISO path, and I'm very happy
Wonderful.
about it.
That's a
Yeah.
good choice.
So that's how I became a CISO. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
on your
that's
on your
how this
yeah,
thing
on
came
your
in.
right, on your continued learning, I can say that none of the Elite CISO workshop you have missed, right? So during lockdown, we did a lot of
Yes.
workshops, and you have kind of attended all of them. So that's great.
Right.
Wonderful.
Because I would like to add, I
Hmm.
just want to take 1 minute and, say
Yeah,
something
sure.
here.
Sure,
And
sure.
it is not, written, and it's just that I really wanted to thank
Hmm.
you especially and the Elite CISO group because, and it is straight from the heart. It is like,
Right.
when I joined this community of, being a IT security person,
Hmm.
I was lost. Seriously, I didn't know, where to
Right.
go, how to do it. It was just that I knew that I can do it. I had that confidence in me. Plus, I had
Hmm.
my experience, but I needed a path that,
Right.
how someone
Right.
can help me. And this elite CISO group, I would say I joined around, I think, 10 or 12 groups. And
Yeah.
this is the only group which really
Yeah.
helped me, especially as a female also. This is
Right.
what I'm going to say that I
Hmm.
think I have joined some international groups also. But
Hmm.
the support all the members, especially the senior members, give
Hmm.
to females and women, it's
Right.
commendable. Hats off to you
Wonderful.
guys. And
Thanks.
you
Thanks a
really
lot.
give us
Really.
a beautiful platform to work.
Right.
No,
Really
no, I
appreciate
really
your kind
appreciate
words.
it,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot. Thanks a lot. Okay, now let's get into the meat of the podcast that we are going to have.
Yeah,
So we wanted to talk about the endpoint security, right? Now it
right.
is very important. Endpoint security, everybody knows, plays an important role in a security posture of any company. So why you think, in
Right.
your opinion, the cyber security posture of endpoint is very much required, or it is essential? What do you think around that?
Yeah. Yeah. So because the first and foremost thing is like all of you will agree with me that
Mhm.
our parameter doesn't exist right now.
Right.
Earlier, we would say that it was still that okay, you can put in firewalls, your entire network is very segregated, so you can
Mhm.
protect it with a very small kind of an endpoint or maybe no endpoint. But right
Mhm.
now, with personal desktops, laptops,
Mhm.
globalization, where there are a lot of people connecting from outside, and most of the people want that we want to bring their own devices. They don't want to handle two devices. Mostly people want to use their Apple or maybe their
Mhm.
desktops or their laptops, which are already there
Mhm.
at home.
Mhm.
Then you have IoT devices, you have SCADA systems. So there's so many, the perimeter doesn't exist. So the
Mhm.
only thing which, really helps us secure is the endpoint security. Secondly, I would say that, if you see most of the vulnerable data lies on your endpoint. So endpoint
Absolutely.
needs to be secure at any times.
Right.
Also, like if you see the email, like all of us know that email attacks is like 60-70% of all the types of attacks
Absolutely.
which all the hackers are using.
Right. Right.
So even if your perimeter security scans it, your email
Mhm.
gateway scans it, still some files
Mhm.
can land up on your
Mhm.
endpoint, right?
Mhm.
So you need some secure protection which is very good, and really can work on what all files a person is executing on your laptop or
Right.
desktop.
Right.
Fourthly, I would like to add that these days you see a lot of fileless attacks, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they are not. I would not say that it's only ransomware they're looking at.
Mhm.
They're also looking at you for utilizing of your CPU and RAM memory for
Mhm.
crypto mining.
That's
So
right.
how would you stop that?
True.
None of your
True.
firewall or anything is going to
Right.
really stop it. So if you look at all these things, and plus there might be many more, I think first and foremost this we really need to shift our focus from network security and things like that, and first and foremost look at endpoint security. That is
Right.
what is my mantra for this year, that really work on
Mhm.
endpoints. What yes, one endpoint protection is one thing. What more we can do, like education of the
Absolutely.
users on endpoint and things like that.
Absolutely.
So that is why I really feel it is very important.
Right, right. That's true. See, the laptop users used to travel earlier as well, but now the ball game is
Yeah,
totally different. Now your entire office is remote, right? Everybody is working from home.
exactly,
So the
exactly.
endpoint security posture has to be very strong. As you said, the fileless attacks and all those things. So talking about protecting the endpoint, so user awareness is one part, but from technology perspective, we have been deploying antivirus from past 20 years. This is what you do for
Yeah,
protecting your endpoint, right? Now there's a new animal in the world which is called EDR, right? The endpoint detection and
yeah,
response. So how do you
yeah.
how do you differentiate between a traditional antivirus and the new EDR which is coming up and eating a big chunk of the market? What is your opinion around that?
See, my opinion is that it's a beautiful tool for
Mhm,
especially for people who have got people in remote areas. We have got different
mhm,
offices in globally, and we need to centrally manage everything sitting at
mhm.
one place. First and foremost, EDR is the solution for that. Secondly,
Okay.
if you see, the traditional endpoints, they really just not even EDR. I would say EDR is a backbone for a very good, robust endpoint solution which has now come in.
Mhm.
So traditional endpoints will be like what? They just match your signature based, work that, okay, this is the signatures which are known to me. And if this comes in, I would block. But nowadays we have every 4 or 5 days, we have got a 0 day new thing which is
Right,
coming up, right?
right.
So for that, I don't think that our traditional endpoints can suffice all this kind of thing. So we need machines to, you say that you need guns to fight guns. You need
Yeah, yeah,
machines
true.
to fight machines. So you need the same kind of robustness in your endpoint
Mhm,
so that,
mhm.
you can really fight this kind of cyber crime, or I would say
Right.
terrorism, which we are looking at.
Right.
Yeah,
So you're saying
I really feel that.
the time of the updating the antivirus definitions, looking at the console,
Of course.
finding out finding out which client is not updated, that time is gone, right? It is all automation now.
Right.
Your EDR should be able to
Yes.
take a call and should be able to decide whether this is malicious or not. So that's what we are
Of
dealing with
course.
these days. Great.
And
Now,
also because,
yeah,
yes, please.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please.
So also, you need simplicity of management, because
Right.
now, if you're like, there's so much globalization, it has to be something which can easily,
Mhm.
if it is a false positive, how quickly, it is able to just cater and say that, okay, it's a false positive, and it
Absolutely.
goes across the organization. So simplicity of
Absolutely.
management is very much the need of the hour right now.
Absolutely. And again, detection. See, the traditional antivirus never talked about detection. It was all about prevention.
Yeah,
Now the theory is all
exactly,
okay. The sooner you can detect, the better you can prevent the attack, right? So that's what the EDR market
exactly.
is capturing and focusing on. That how soon can you detect the
Yeah.
attack? That's great. So that is
So
one.
I have,
Yeah.
yeah, I have given this line to my team, that
Right.
not only attacks should be prevented before causing harm and not detected
Right.
after causing harm, but the solution should do so without adding significant management over it. That is
Absolutely.
also very important. Yeah,
Absolutely. Once the attack has happened, then I play the analogy of postmortem. The person is dead, you are doing
exactly,
a postmortem, it does not help anyone, right? So person should not die,
exactly,
right? The endpoint should not be compromised.
exactly.
That's what we need to do. Great. Now
Yeah,
we
of
talked
course.
up yeah, we talked about deploying a tool like antivirus and EDR. What are your thoughts around not so instead of depending on a solution, what can we do by using the built-in Windows group policies and controls and all those things? So do you
Mhm.
have any thoughts around that? How we can leverage
Yeah,
Windows
yeah.
built-in
So,
security?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we have done a lot in our
Hmm.
environment here. So first and foremost, we have not given admin rights to any of the users.
Wonderful.
So what happens is, if they don't have admin rights, so they can't execute any exe level things or things like that.
Right.
Gets automatically blocked. Like right now, I was just installing the update of Zoom, so it
Mhm.
stopped me. It said,
It
it's
happens
not.
all the time.
You need to put
Yeah.
in the you
Yeah.
need to put in the
Yeah.
admin password. Secondly, what it is, the USB. I think it is the most vulnerable thing
Right.
which is there. So USB controls
Absolutely.
need to be in place.
Hmm.
So what we have done is we have got whitelisted USBs with proper serial numbers.
Okay.
Those are the ones which can only be run on your systems.
Hmm.
No other USBs, and for rest of the organization it's blocked. It's only
Right.
on the need basis. So
Right.
that
Right.
access management need to be there. That don't give access to all and then start closing it. Close it for all and then
Right.
give to whosoever is needy. for things like that.
Absolutely,
Thirdly, what
absolutely.
we have done, is, or we have those, the desktop screensavers.
Hmm.
So on screensavers, every time you log in, you see a message saying that,
Okay,
this is a Jackware computer and please do not click on
right.
any links, something or the other will
That
keep on
banner is
changing.
there.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
education keeps on, yeah. So education
right.
keeps happening to the users. And what else we have done? So this is, I think this is what we have done for. And fourthly, for the
Hmm.
IT support, see, we
Hmm.
always work on that user management of things, and
Hmm.
we give them all the support from IT support to the users. So this is what we have done.
Great. What else have we done? I mean, you talked about taking away the admin privileges, not letting them install anything, the screensaver, and what else?
Yeah, so what we have done is for IT support. See, breach
Hmm.
can happen even at that level, right? So I'm
Right.
not saying that it be intentional, it can be unintentional as well.
Hmm.
So what we have done is that we have installed a software where for admin people also, they can do whatever activities they need to do on the
Hmm.
system without putting in the admin password.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
so
sense.
that really Yeah, so that really helps because yes, they can do go install any software,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that too even to 5 or 6 privileged people who can go and install software.
Do
But
the
still,
install,
earlier
right?
what was there? Yeah, so earlier what they need to do was
Hmm.
ask the user to put in the password, because the moment you
Hmm.
say a software to be installed, the blue screen comes.
Right.
So
Right.
the
Right.
the IT support loses the connection
Hmm.
on the machine. So
Makes
they have
sense.
a forced
Makes
to
sense.
put admin password. So
Right.
these are some of the things we keep on doing.
Wonderful.
Plus, we also
Wonderful.
don't have a BYOD policy right now, but
So
we
which
are
is
now
good.
evaluating it. Yeah,
Yeah. BYD is a
I'm glad
nightmare,
that
but
we
yeah.
didn't have. Yeah, yeah.
Great.
So
One.
and maybe we're looking at VDI.
Right, right. Yeah, VDI is phenomenal solution. I was looking at Amazon workloads.
Yeah,
That's also pretty good. Again, coming back to the
yeah,
endpoint, one
yeah.
control I've seen is application whitelisting. Lot of people try to deploy application whitelisting that okay, only these 15
Right.
application, 20 DLL will run. Have you explored around that as well?
I have, because, but I feel that nowadays it's not the right thing to do, because there are
Hmm.
so many things people are doing and they want to do,
Yeah,
and it really kills their working. And at the
right,
end of the day,
right.
we need to support the business. That is what I really
Yeah,
feel.
it becomes
So I
challenging
think
then.
this
Yeah.
any endpoint who's got good, yeah, any endpoint's got good machine learning built into it,
Hmm.
and good AI will
Hmm.
suffice that because they are capturing your user
Right,
behavior, and
right.
they do a very good. I've just evaluated two or three
Hmm.
good softwares, and they're very good at it. So I
Wonderful,
think
wonderful.
I'm not that, because I'm being a business person. For
Right.
me, business comes first. So I need to,
Absolutely.
balance both the things. So
Right, right.
that is what I
Great
feel.
insight. Great
Whitelisting
insight.
is, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
difficult to maintain. Yeah. So again, last question. We are like 15, 16, 17 minutes already into this. So what are your recommendations? So if somebody is still on a traditional antivirus system and they are looking for change, right? They want to get into the EDR
right,
bandwagon. So what do you recommend that what people should do to improve their endpoint security posture?
right. So what I'll just tell you, what we did
Hmm.
for evaluation. So maybe it's helpful to the team. So
Hmm.
basically, what we did was we divided the endpoint evaluation into three categories. So
Hmm.
first and foremost, we told everybody we should not say that everybody is going to the cloud, that we also need to go to the cloud. We need to
Hmm.
evaluate where we stand. So one was,
Right.
of course, the strength of protection.
Hmm.
Second was how quickly it can mitigate false positives.
Right. Right.
And third was simplicity of management.
Hmm.
So and then we sub-categorized all this. So in strength of
Hmm.
protection, whether it can take care of zero-day attacks, whether fileless
Hmm.
attacks. So I've got a complete
Hmm.
list. If you want, I can just show it also to the users,
Hmm. Yeah, sure.
that they can
Is
take
it
a
is it
snapshot of it
yeah,
if you
is it
want.
something that you can share as well, or it is something proprietary?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, no, no. Definitely they can use it.
perfect.
Not a
So
problem.
what I'm thinking is once we post this podcast, we'll put a link for this spreadsheet as well, so that anybody, whoever
Yeah.
is evaluating EDR or AV technology or endpoint security, they can get a framework which is already there, and then they can build on top of it, something like that.
Sure. So what I'll do is I'll not show it here. I have a complete presentation around it. We can
Okay.
even post that as well, so
Oh,
that
that's
it's
wonderful.
easier for
That's
them to,
wonderful.
present it also to the people. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
they can
That's
use that
wonderful.
presentation. Not a problem.
Great.
Yeah.
And how much time
Yeah.
it takes to revamp the endpoint security, posture. So let's say we are talking about a multinational company with different offices. So
Mm.
what kind of project they should execute in terms of revamping their endpoint? What are the step-by-step things they should do?
Yeah. So first and foremost is that, current, you should have proper checklist of the current posture, what all your antivirus can do, because sometimes it happens that there are features which we have not evaluated. So no,
Absolutely.
so one checklist first and foremost should be there, what all this person can do, your
Mhm.
old endpoint. Now the second is that what all you want it to do. It's not that,
Right,
you'll agree in market, there are hundreds of vendors with
right,
hundreds of products,
right.
but
Define
you
what
need
you
to know
want.
what
Yeah,
you want.
right.
Yeah, define what you want.
Hmm.
And of course, and evaluate other, because sometimes we don't know what we want.
Hmm.
That is also there. So, do a lot of meetings first, understand what all is available in the market, but then
Hmm.
evaluate what you want. And then, of course, do a POC of things. That is very
Hmm.
important.
Right,
Align a
right.
good team and do a POC seriously. And I think
Hmm.
POC should be at least on 10, 15% of whatever you have, the
Right,
count of your
right.
endpoints,
Hmm.
and try to put in all the scenarios in place.
Hmm.
Like if you have a BYOD, you have a desktop, laptop, different type of servers,
Right,
like, Windows,
right,
Linux,
right.
things
Hmm.
like that. Then
Hmm.
you have different scenarios, what applications are running. So you need to do a
Right,
POC, and POC
right.
should last at least 30 to 45 days. Otherwise,
Yeah,
all the things you will not be able to catch.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
plus,
Because
do
you
it in
need that
different
time. Yeah,
geographies.
yeah. That's true. That's
Exactly.
true.
And you do it in
And then,
different geographies.
right, right. So that you get, because the user behavior is totally different. What people
It's
do in
totally
Europe
different.
is
Yes.
totally different from India. So yeah, that's a good point, that do
Yeah.
it in
Yeah.
different geographies.
Yeah.
That's great. Perfect. I
Yeah.
think
And
that's what. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please. Last point, I think.
no,
Yeah.
it's okay. Please.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So that's what I wanted to say. Thanks a lot. Great insights into the overall endpoint security management. So this podcast will go on our YouTube channel as well as the website. So I'm sure people will benefit from it. So thanks, Mansi, for taking out time
I
and
hope
speaking
so.
to us. Great. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Vikas.
you.
Lovely session. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks.